Hello and welcome. In something of a first for the channel, I will be flying a helicopter in one of my videos. This being the free to download AH-6J Little Bird. I will provide the download page link in the description, and all you're going to want to do is click download anyway, and then it will obviously download to your download folder, and then you're going to want to extract it, and it will need to go into your saved game open beta or stable version, whichever one you have. Go into mods, aircraft, and then basically extract that whole folder straight into here. So you've got that in there, and then you're pretty much ready to fire the sim up and get going. So I'll start the sim up now, and we'll carry on from there. So we're in the Persian Gulf on the island of Sir Abu Naya, and I've dropped my little bird on the parking ramp on the airport here, under client, so it's ready for me to go, under close air support because of the configuration that I want to use. Now it does come with a couple of presets. You've got the Hydras, miniguns, and then you've got miniguns, the 50 cal and Hydras in this one. So as you can see, you've got your minigun, Hydras and 50 cal. On here you've got two miniguns and two sets of Hydras in pods. That's the configuration I'll be going with, and there's no point in really trying to set your own version up, because other than those two configurations there's nothing any different. Paint scheme doesn't come with any, although there is a pack that I'm aware of that you can download, and I'll show you those a bit later. Other than that, it's very simplistic. And you've obviously got your fuel. There's no countermeasures. You know, other than that, it's like I say, it's mainly a demonstration of what can be done if you wanted to make a freeware version of a helicopter, put out there as sort of a baseline for other people to sort of work on. And yeah, they've done a very good job of it. It's a 0.4 version. It's not going to get any higher than that. I believe they've stopped working on it now, purely because it's there for other people to do what they will with it. But for what it is, it's quite a good little module. I've flown it a couple of times just to sort of get a feel for it. Previously flew helicopters in FSX, but I never had a split cyclic throttle before, so that's new to me. And obviously this is a bit more twitchy, and also there's a cyclic trim on this, which I'm not used to either. So we'll jump into the cockpit, and then we'll continue from there. Once you're inside the cockpit, there's a couple of things you'll notice. One is that there are two cyclics on either side, one animated, one not. The collective isn't animated, although I seem to be able to have some control on the throttle there, but doesn't do anything at all. This panel is dead. There's no radios or anything like that. The only switch on here out of everything that is live is the RWR switch, and the RWR is actually situated there. The M1 gauge doesn't work. Numerous times I've tried to see if I can get that working, but nothing. The switches, so we've got position lights here. You flick that up, nothing. You've got your inverter here, flick up, generator here, flick up, and then you've got your battery. So you flick down for your external power, and flick up for your battery power. Nothing along here, none of these do anything. The NT gauge, this is what you'll be looking at for when the engine spools up. This is your armament panel, so you've got your rocket, ripple or single, master arm, guns left, right or both, rockets left, right or both. This is a clock, this is your local time at the bottom, that's GMT. This, as far as I'm aware, does nothing. One that's on, we'll flick it on now. It's on. Okay, so we've got barometric altitude, so we can set our QFE and QNH via that. Artificial horizon, and to your airspeed indicator. Now we'll get into the controls. Okay, so axis, you will need obviously cyclic pitch and roll. You will need some form of rudder control, and obviously you're going to need throttle and collective. I've got an X56, so I've split my throttle. My left hand side is throttle and right hand side is collective. Obviously flying helicopters in FSX, everything was done via one throttle lever, so this is all new to me. Going over to systems, now you've got cyclic trim. This is also new to me, as I never used that or had that in FSX, and trust me, it's needed. So I've got this set up as a hat switch. I've also bound my starter button and throttle idle cut off, just to make things a bit easier for myself, but you can use home and end. And then the last bit, weapons, gunfire is obviously your trigger, master arm I've set as my button 3 on my stick, and then obviously weapon release for your rockets. So we'll get this started now. I've gone through all of the switches, which wasn't very much. Just flick your battery up. That was it. RWR was switched on, that was zeroed out. So yeah, we'll get this started. So if you push home down, you'll see the rotor blades will start to spin. While that's happening, I will flick on my position lights. Once we get that up to around about 7%, which it is now, I will also hold end down. As you can see, the temperature's shot up and now our RPMs are building. I've got to hold the home button down until we get to about 58%, switch on the generator and inverter, and then you can let go, and that's the engine up and running. So there you go, that's the cold start. Carrying on from the startup, just a couple of other switches that we can do, well not switches but key binds. We can press 1 and 2 and that'll put us in different seats. So yeah, you can switch between the two, and if you press the N or November key, that brings up your night vision. Press November again, takes it off, and if you hold left Alt and Lima, you will get flashlight, but you won't see anything in the daylight. But yeah, if you're having to do a cold dark start at night time, left Alt and Lima will get you around the cockpit in the dark. Okay, so it's now time to bite the bullet and get this thing off the ground. So we're going to concentrate on this bit here. and what we're going to do is going to throttle up until we get 100% on N2 and NR, and just let it settle. So slowly pushing the throttle up. Okay, so we're approaching 100%. Just going to let that settle. Okay, we're on 101. That's fine. Okay, now this is where the fun begins. As soon as you lift the collective up, it wants to go backwards, it wants to go sideways, so it's a bit of a wrestle. So knowing your cyclic trim and using your rudder pedals will obviously get you out of a dilemma. So we'll do that now. We'll go slowly lifting the collective. As you can see, starting to drift to the left, to the right, sorry. So some right rudder pedal, and there we go, we're up. And you've got to sort of wrestle with the rudder pedals, and I'm pushing forward on the cyclic as well. So what I need to do is trim out so that my nose, well, so that I don't want to fly backwards. See, just turned green there, not sure what happened. So there we go, just trimming out, adding a little bit of trim to the left, and I've got my hands off the controls and got a steady flight forward. My rudder pedals are in the neutral position. Oh, starting to drift up a bit, so trim out again. So there we go. Just a matter of just trimming it out and making life a little bit more comfortable on yourself as you're flying it. Now, armament. As you can see, I've got the old Hydras there and miniguns. So we'll go over to the armament. I'm going to flick on the master arm. It's up. Now I'm going to put rockets into ripple because I don't want to push weapon release multiple times. And what I'm going to do is have rockets on left and right, and I'm going to do the same with the guns. So, actually, I'll switch the rockets off first, and we'll just have the guns on. And I use this, I'm guessing that's what it's for, as a sort of an iron sight or a pipper of some description, just to hold over a target. And yeah, we'll see what happens when I squeeze the trigger. So we've got to find some sort of a target. These trees will do. Look at the tracer go. Yeah, I love that effect. That looks so good. A lot of fun as well. So yeah, sort of just to the left of that black dot, or just below. As you can see, I'm a lousy shot. Not that I'm really aiming for anything, but still. Yeah. Put on the throttle a bit more, get a bit more out of the engine. And then every time you make a little adjustment on the engine, you need to trim it out. So you might get a bit of a sore thumb after a little while using this. So there we go, trimmed out, all good. So we've got both the throttle and the collective hard. Won't go any further. So what I'm going to do now is obviously show you the miniguns and then show you the Hydras. They've got high explosive warheads, so you don't want to get too close to the explosions. Let's bring it back round again. Gained a bit of height now. See if we can hit this little truck thing. So yeah, you just push the weapon release. I accidentally went for trigger because I'm used to that. But if you hold the weapon release button down, the whole ripple will go. I think I may have used them all. Nope, still got a few left. There we go. So that's rockets and miniguns, and 50 cal is not going to be much of a difference. So what I'll do now is I will bring it in for a landing. I might even see if I can get on the Tarawa. Just make things a little bit more interesting. Not the not the most graceful of landings, but it's a landing nonetheless, and one that I can walk away from, so I'm quite happy with that. That's built up a little bit of a sweat. So yeah, it's a great little mod, especially for being free. Great, give you a little bit of experience on helicopters before you decide if you want to go for something that costs a little bit more. Also, this gives you the experience of a main rotor tail rotor combination, and nothing like the KA50, which is contra, which has contra rotating rotors, which basically cancels out any torque steer that can develop once you get off the ground. So this is good for practicing that type of aircraft with that type of configuration, because what you don't want is to pay out for the KA50, think, oh, this is really easy, and then get into something like this, or maybe the Hind or the Gazelle, anything like that, and find out that you can't fly the damn thing because, well, it throws you for six basically. So this is a great way of getting into it without actually costing you any pennies. So yeah, I'm going to end it here. End up on the deck of the Tarawa. I'm quite happy with that, and hopefully that's been of interest to somebody or helped somebody out. And as always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.